Chapter 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Judgment. Use the wisdom, knowledge, and legwork of other people to further your own cause. Not only will such assistance save you valuable time and energy, it will give you a godlike aura of efficiency and speed. In the end, your helpers will be forgotten, and you will be remembered. Never do yourself what others can do for you. Transgression and observation of the law. In 1883, a young Serbian scientist named Nikola Tesla was working for the European division of Continental Edison Company. He was a brilliant inventor, and Charles Bacheller, a plant manager and a friend of Thomas Edison, persuaded him he should seek his fortune in America, giving him a letter of introduction to Edison himself. So began a life of woe and tribulation that lasted until Tesla's death. When Tesla met Edison in New York, the famous inventor hired him on the spot. Tesla worked 18-hour days, finding ways to improve the primitive Edison dynamos. Finally, he offered to redesign them completely. To Edison, this seemed a monumental task that could last years without paying off, but he told Tesla, "There's $50 in it for you if you can do it." Tesla labored day and night on the project, and after a year, he produced a greatly improved version of the dynamo, completely with automatic controls. He went to Edison to break the good news and receive his $50,000. Edison was pleased with the improvement for which he and his company would take credit. But when it came to the issue of the money, he told the young Serb, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor," and offered a small raise instead. Tesla's obsession was to create an alternating current system of electricity. Edison believed in the DC current system, not only refused to support Tesla's research, but later did all he could to sabotage him. Tesla turned to the great Pittsburgh George Westinghouse, who had started his own electric company. Westing completely funded Tesla's research and offered him a generous royalty agreement on future projects. The AC system Tesla developed is still the standard today. But after patents were filed in his name, other scientists came forward to take credit for the invention, claiming that they had laid the groundwork for him. His name was lost in the shuffle, and the public came to associate the invention with Westinghouse himself. A year later, Westinghouse was caught in a takeover bid from J.P. Morgan, who made him rescind the generous royalty contract he had signed with Tesla. Westinghouse explained to the scientists that his company would not survive if he had to pay him his full royalties. He persuaded Tesla to accept a buyout of his patent of $216,000, a large sum, no doubt, but far less than $12 million they were worth at the time. The financier had devastated Tesla of the riches, the patents, and essentially the credit for the greatest invention of his career. The name of Marconi is forever linked with the invention of radio. But few know that in producing his invention, he broadcast a signal across the English Channel in 1899. Marconi made use of a patent Tesla had filed in 1897, and that his work depended on Tesla's research. Once again, Tesla received no money, no credit. Tesla invented an induction motor as well as the AC power. system. He is the real father of radio, yet none of these discoveries bear his name. As an old man, he lived in poverty. In 1717, during his later impoverishment years, Tesla was told he was to receive the Edison Medal of American Institute of Electrical Engineering. He turned the medal down. "You propose," he said, "to honor me with a medal which I could pin upon my coat and strut for a vain hour before the members of your institute? You would decorate my body and continue to let me starve for failure to supply recognition. My mind and its creative products, which have supplied the foundation upon the major portion of your institute, exist." Interpretation. Many harbor the illusion that science dealing with fact, as it does, is beyond the petty rivalries that trouble rest of the world. Nikola Tesla was one of those. He believed science had nothing to do with politics, claiming that not to care for fame and riches. As he grew older, though, he ruined his scientific work. Not associated with particular discovery, he could attract no investors to his many ideas. While he pondered great inventions for the future, others stole the patents he had already developed and got the glory for themselves. He wanted to do everything on his own, but merely exhausted and impoverished himself in the process. Edison was Tesla's polar opposite. He wasn't actually much of a scientific thinker or inventor. He was once said that he had no need to be a mathematician because he could always hire one. That was Edison's main method. He was really a businessman, a publicist, spotted the trends and the opportunities that were out there, then hiring the best in the field to do the work for him. If he had to, he would steal from his competitors. Yes, yet his name is better known than Tesla and is associated with more inventions. The lesson is twofold. First, for an invention or creation as important. First, the credit for an invention or creation is important, if not more important than the invention itself. You must secure the credit for yourself and keep others from stealing away from you or from piggybacking on your hard work. To accomplish this, you must always be vigilant and ruthless, keeping your creation credit until you can be sure there are no other people's work further your own cause. Oh, you can be sure that no virtues are circling up overhead. Second, learn to take advantage of other people's work to further your own cause. Time is precious and life is short. If you try to do it all on your own, you run yourself raggedy, wasted energy, and burn yourself out. It is far better to conserve your forces, pounce on the work of others have done, and find a way to make it your own. Everybody steals in commerce and industry. I've stolen a lot myself, but I know how to steal. Thomas Edison. Keys to power. The world of power has the dynamic of the jungle. There are those who live by hunting and killing, and those also vast numbers of creatures, hyenas, vultures, who live off the hunting of others. These latter, less imaginative types are often incapable of doing the work that is essential for the creation of power. They understand early on, though, that if they wait their creation long enough, they can also find another animal to do the work for them. Do not be naive. At this very moment, while you are slaving away on some project, there are vultures circling above trying to figure out a way to survive and even thrive off your creativity. It is useless to complain about this or to wear yourself ragged with bitterness as Tesla did. Better to protect yourself and join the gang. Once you have established a power base, become a vulture yourself and save yourself a lot of time and energy. Of the two poles of the same game, one can be illustrated by the example, the explorer Nunez de Bobo. Bobo had an obsession, the discovery of El Dorado, a legendary city of vast riches. In the 16th century, after countless hardships and brushes with death, he found evidence of a great wealthy empire on the south of Mexico, in present-day Peru. By conquering this empire, seizing its gold, he would make himself the next Cortez. The problem was that even as he made this discovery, word of it spread amongst hundreds of other conquistors. He did not understand that half the game was keeping it quiet and carefully watching those around him. A few years after he discovered the location of the Incan Empire, a soldier in his own army, Francisco Parzo, helped to get him beheaded for treason. Parzo went on to take the Balbos had spent so many years trying to find. The other pole that the artist Peter Paul Rubens in his late career found himself deluged with requests of paintings. He created a system. In his large studio, he employed dozens of outstanding painters, one specializing in robes, another background, and so on. He created a vast production line in which a large number of canvases would be worked on at the same time. When an important client visited the studio, Rubens would show his hired painters out for the day. While the client watched from a balcony, Rubens would work on an incredible pace and an unbelievable energy. The client would leave in awe of this prestigious man who could paint so many masterpieces in so short time. This is the essence of the law. Learn to get others to do the work for you while you take the credit. And you yourself will be of godlike strength and power. If you think it is important to do all the work yourself, you will never get far, and you will suffer the fate of Bobos and Tesla of the world. Find people with the skills and creativities you lack, hire them, while putting your own name on the top of theirs, and find a way to take their work and make it your own. Their creativity thus becomes yours, and you seem a genius to the world. There is another application of this law that does not require the practical use of contemporary labor. Use the past, a vast storehouse of knowledge and wisdom. Isaac Newton called this standing on the shoulders of giants. He meant that in making his discoveries, he had built on the achievements of others. A great part of his aura of genius, he knew, was attributed to his shrewd ability to make the most of the insights of ancient medieval scientists. Shakespeare borrowed plots, characterizations, and even dialogue from Plato, among other writers, for he knew that nobody surpassed Plato in the writing subtle psychology and witty quotes. How many later writers have in their borrowed from plagiarized Shakespeare? We all know a few today. Politicians write their own speeches. Their own words would not win them a single vote. Their eloquence and wit, however, whatever there is of it, they owe to a speechwriter. Other people do the work, they take the credit. The upside of this is that it is a kind of power that is available to everyone. Learn to use the knowledge of the past, and you will look like a genius, even when you are really just a clever borrower. Writers who have delved into human nature, ancient master strategy, historians of human stupid folly, kings and queens have learned that the hard way how to handle the burdens of power. Their knowledge is gathering dust, waiting for you to come and stand on their shoulders. Their wit can be your wit. Their skill can be your skill. And they will never come around and tell the people how unoriginal you really are. You can slog through life, make endless mistakes, wasting time and trying to do things for your own experience. Or you can use the enemy armies of the past. As Bismarck once said, fools say they learn by experience. I prefer to profit by others' experience. Imagine. The vulture of the creatures in the jungle, he has it the easiest. The hard work of others become his work. The failure to survive become his nourishment. Keep an eye on vultures. While you are hard at work, he is circling above. Do not fight him, join him. There is much to be known. Life is short and life is not life without knowledge. It is, therefore, an excellent device to acquire knowledge from everybody. Thus, by sweat of another man's brow, you can win the reputation of being an oracle. There are times when taking the credit for work that others have done is not the wise course. If the power is not firmly enough established, you will seem to be pushing people out of the limelight. To be brilliant of your own talent position must be unshakable, or you will be accused of deception. Be sure you know when letting other people share the credit serves your purpose. It is especially important to not be greedy when you have a master above you. President Richard Nixon's historic visit to People's Republic of China was originally his idea, but it might never come off but for the deft diplomacy of Henry Kissinger. Nor would it have been as successful without Kissinger's skills. Still, when the time came to take credit, Kissinger let Nixon take the lion's share. Knowing that the truth would come out later, he was careful not to jeopardize his standing in the short term by hogging the limelight. Kissinger played the game expertly. He took credit for the work those below him, while graciously giving credit for his own labor to those above. That is the way to play the game.